Please help me give big smooches to my dear friend, Lauren Francis. Welcome, Lauren. I can't believe it's your first time here on Dates and Mates.
How's that possible?
I don't know how that's possible because we have been friends for a very long time. You are also one of the people I have to give credit where credit is due. If people open up F the Fairy Tale and they go to the special thanks, you are listed as one of the, I think I called you one of the butt kickers.
That's one of
You
the
were
butt
somebody
kickers.
who kicked me in the butt to get this book written. You are an accomplished author and dating expert, TV personality, all the things yourself. But you also are a very persistent and encouraging friend. So thank you for that.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. And writing a book, I wrote my book 9 years before it got published.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when it was rejected by everyone. And then Dating, Mating, and Manhandling, the Ornithological Guide to Men. And then, when I did take it back to market, it sold in 3 weeks for a bunch of dough. And so that was just my story. And so I was so excited to support you in writing your book because, a book makes you an authority, even if you're making things up. Once it's in print, you are like somebody to listen to. But your book is I'm so proud of you, and know that it's a Herculean effort to
Thank
write a
you.
book, and your book is fantastic. Everybody should buy it, read it.
Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, it's all of those things, but honestly, seeing how you did that and like just that's just such a great story also, Lauren, of persistence and
Mhm.
timing. And it's
Right,
a really good reminder for dating as well because I get a
right.
lot of people writing into the show saying, "I've done your courses, I've done the apps, I've read the book." And it's not happening. And sometimes it's just a matter of timing and the stars didn't align
Right.
then for your book, but when they did, ka-ching.
Coaching, and it's funny. I got a rejection notice. This is just like so dating. I got a rejection notice saying, "I don't understand what this is." It was a dating guide. There were no dating guides really.
Yes, it is timing, but it's also strategy.
Right.
And I mean, we could do a whole episode on dating apps.
Let's do it.
Um, well, but we have other things to talk about, Lauren.
We have other things. I'll come
Because
back.
I feel like I talk about dating apps all of the time, and you talk about dating apps all the time. But a lot of
Yeah.
people now are getting on dates. They're doing what we're telling them about the profiles, and then they get to the first date and they're like, now what? Now what? So I want to dig into that with you and how there really is there like a script that you teach your clients, or are there things, best practices that people can do to set themselves up for success? And I define success, like I said this on Access Hollywood a couple weeks ago. Really, the whole goal of the first date is to what? Get a second date, right? So, sometimes I find that people get a little bit ahead of themselves, but what's your philosophy on first dates?
This is the reality: is that your first date happens from the very first interaction that you're having with somebody.
Go on.
Your first blush touch. Really, a lot of my coaching is about how to text and take the kind of chill off of the interaction online. But then also, I always tell my clients to definitely transition to doing a phone call, to never just meet people in person. So the phone call is actually the first date. And the reason why I have people talk to people on the phone, and I suggest that you get Google Voice or Burner app, or not affiliated with any of them, but I think that one of the things that happens to people is that they get kind of dating fatigue from going out on terrible dates. So you can't really tell in 2D just texting on the phone exactly who somebody is. So when you hear somebody on the phone, if they're talking like this, if there's no conversational flow, that is something that you want to know. And so that is the first date. And so there are questions that I really suggest, clients ask, but a lot of it is just kind of how do you feel while you're talking to people. So a very easy way to transition from texting to getting on the phone is just say, It would be lovely to chat sometime. Perhaps it would be lovely. It would be fun to chat. And then the man is supposed to go, oh, okay, here's my phone number.
I also find that, Lauren, when the number just gets shared without any expectation of like, this is when we're talking, it
Correct. Right.
sometimes just goes into the ether as well. So it's
Oh,
like, well, I gave him my number and, then you're 10 chats down and you're like, he never called. Like, he forgot.
yeah. You are just
You didn't
like
make an
it.
appointment. You didn't
You
have
did
an
not. Yeah.
agreement,
It's just
right?
like I call it man spam. It's just like he sent the number. We don't know what's going to happen or what. But the best time to get on the phone with somebody is while you're swiping and interacting at that moment. So you can say, "Oh, it would be really fun to chat. Are you free now?" Question mark. If he said it would be really fun to chat, and he might say, "Yes, that would be great." Just go, "I'm free now if you are." Boom, whoop, there it is. So right then and there, you can give him your burner number, right? So he can't, because everybody, like, if you dropped your phone number in the Google machine, everything about you will come up. Where you
I think
live,
a
where you
lot of people
work.
don't realize that. I
They
had
don't
a whole
realize that.
conversation with Drew about this, and I was like, Drew Barrymore, you are on Raya giving people your actual phone number?
Oh, no,
I
no.
don't have Drew's
No,
actual
no.
phone number. I,
No,
I
no.
communicate through her assistant. I'm like, what? You don't have a
But
burner
some
phone?
random
Like,
dude
ridiculous.
does.
She has multiple phones, but
I'm sure she does.
but yeah, some random dude that like
No.
she's gonna talk about on the show that doesn't even go anywhere.
My thing is that I really do work with a lot of really high profile people like you do, but even, any woman, you are high profile. Your identity is not a right, it is a privilege that somebody earns. So I often suggest that women do not put, if you've got a first name that is unusually spelled, right? If it's Sandy with an
Me,
I or Damona,
a
easy to
Damona.
find out, then I suggest that you come up with a little nickname that, like Jane, something
Yeah.
so simple so that people cannot find you. At any rate, so the first date, if you say, "Oh, it would be lovely to chat," he might go, "Great, here's my phone number. Wonderful. Are you free now?" Question mark. And he'll say, "Yes." Just go, "Fantastic." And then you hop on the phone, and that's how you, all of this.
He'll say like, sure, I'm let me get off the toilet where I've been swiping.
Just give me 5 minutes. Okay.
Sorry, but we look, we know what y'all are doing.
We
That's
know
the
what's going
reality.
on. I had
Yes.
a client. This just reminds me. It's a really funny story. I had a client who took my do these like Love Magnet Makeovers. People fly in. It's 4 days. We do like amazing photographs. Everybody always says you look better than your photo after these photographs. It's just like some people. It's just awesome. Their romance camp. Anyway, she she was like, "I don't understand. People are talking to me, but I'm not getting on any dates." I was like, "Okay, I want to see your text thread." And men would say, "Oh, your eyes look like limpid pools," and she'd say, "Thanks. I'd love to get together sometime." And she'd be like, "I'm too busy right now. Call me this weekend." I said, "Okay, it sounds like you are texting them from the OR." She was like, she's an ER nurse, an ER doctor. Sorry. And she was like, "I am. Don't text men from the OR. Or if you're
No,
in a place where you
or the
cannot
toilet,
literally, well, I don't know how long you're going to be there. I mean, you could. You just don't want to get on the phone. So you want to be in a place. I love that we went right to the potty. It's so cute.
like, I mean,
Saloon singers in our past. So the best way to break the ice on the phone or in person is to put people at ease by pretending that you care, by saying, "Nice shoes, nice watch."
on the first date, a lot of times, like, people are playing it so cool. They're playing it too
Right.
cool, and they're putting it on ice.
Don't go on a first date that's going to bum you out. Going to coffee is depressing.
Yes.
It is a low value date.
Oh.
Too much is happening for you to go on a low value date. So I only want people going out on dates they're actually excited about. And if you're excited about it, you can meet for a drink at a beautiful hotel lobby. Go someplace pretty so that you can, throw on a pair of heels if you want to, or look cute, and the date is for you. You're showing up for your love life. My philosophy about dates is that anybody that's showing up for love, what a huge gift that is to show up for love. So if you can lower your expectations in a certain way, you want to have good vibe on the phone, right? And have some flow. So it's not a waste of your time. But if you show up and the guy looks like his photos, right? And is kind of like an okay guy, but it's just never going to happen. And you're going to know that in the first minute. There's always something to be interested about. So toss them a crumb, nice tie, nice sports watch, have a little chit chat, find something interesting about them, and just say, it was such a delight. Thank you so much for taking the time to say hello and meet.
That's such a great tip. And like everybody wants to just be seen, right? When you show up on a
Yeah.
date, you
Hmm.
just want to be seen and you want to be heard. And sometimes that's enough, even if there isn't a romantic connection. I totally agree with you. Just had a conversation with a client recently about a second date, and
Yeah.
she had done coffee for the first date at Starbucks. And I'm also like, not all coffee dates are considered
Yeah.
equal. I'm a huge coffee person. I'm highly caffeinated right now, girl.
Drinking coffee right now. Here we go.
And I love Starbucks, who's not sponsoring the
Blue
show, but
bottle.
maybe should
Not
be.
supposed. Yeah.
Ooh, Blue Bottle is like
Somebody.
that's
$7 coffee. What can I tell you?
that's like nitro. That is serious stuff. Big fan of the Starbucks. Worked there in
Hmm.
college. Love the
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
However, I probably would not go to one for a first date just because the ambiance isn't right. Whereas I can think of other coffee shops, like local places that have like, velvety couches and
Sure.
dim lighting and like a different
Yeah.
vibe. So those kind of coffee dates are okay. But this person was saying that she felt a connection even at Starbucks. And I was like, this is really
This is
good. Like
deep.
you overcame the
That's
Starbucks
that's big.
daytime morning date. And on top of that, then they wanted to go on another date. And so the plan was to go to lunch. And I was like, I don't know, two-day dates back to back. You're setting yourself up for a really high bar to clear. So I like
Interesting.
to
Okay.
say, right? I like to say,
Go bowling.
and think, or just like think about what
Teasing.
is the vibe you want to create, right?
Right.
Like what do you want? You want romance? Then maybe doing something that you would be doing with a business colleague isn't the way to set yourself up for success.
Oh, good point. I see what you're saying. I always feel like you're dressing for the date for you. Who knows if it's the right person? Odds are it's not, right? How many people have you gone on dates with? How many people have you fallen deeply in love with? So the experience, what we want the experience of dating to be, what I want that to be for you is I want it to make you feel good. I want it to make you feel good. I want it to be like, wow, my desire for love is bigger than my disappointment about this particular date, right? We want to honor your inner, rom com romance girl, right? So you're the heroine of your own love life, and so I had a client who was going out on a lot of first dates and wasn't getting to second dates. She said, "Men were talking about their yachts, their planes, their homes, their cars." And it's just like, and on first dates, guys are going blah, 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 blah. And a lot of women are like, oh my God, he's so narcissistic. He's so self centered. And I said, no, no, men on first dates, the first date is for the man. The man is trying to impress you. He's saying, pick me, please. It's called peacocking. It's like, I've got the best sperm on the block. I've got a boat, a plane. I want a poetry competition. Whatever he's got that he can
Look at all
flaunt,
my stuff.
I take out the trash. I'm the best dad, right? He's going to be trying to please you. Anyway, I said, okay, so they were talking about their cars, their planes, their trains, blah, blah. And she's not getting to any second dates. And I said, so what did you say when he told you about his train and plane and blah, blah, blah? She was like, well, I went, uh-huh. Now, this is what I want to tell you, ladies. It doesn't mean when they're doing the hard sell that they actually want to date you. It just means that they want to know they've gotten your approval. So if they decide to date you, you will be a willing participant. Because here's a tip: men they don't want to get rejected. So
Wouldn't
they're
you say, I mean, we have daters of all genders that listen to the
yeah,
show. Wouldn't you say that's kind of universally true? Like, no one wants to be rejected, and everybody,
yes,
I feel like everybody
yes,
goes to
true,
dates in the same, like,
yes,
wha
100%,
how much can I share without, like, saying too much and making them run away?
correct.
That's kind of the
Well,
dance that we're doing.
the this particular tip is for single women who are dating like cisgender men.
Bro,
Is
like
that
bros, like
bros? Yeah,
golf
bros. Like yeah,
like
the right
golf
yeah,
golf club, like yacht club bros.
dudes, right? So they are
Dudes.
dudes. They are
C-suite bros.
yeah, or even like not C-suite, like just like
D-suite, double
D-suite.
D-suite.
Exactly. You're trying to get into the double D suite, which would be very sweet. A man that's trying to impress you is impressed with you. A man that's not trying to impress you is not very impressed with you. So just take it as a
Mm.
compliment. And what they're looking for is they're looking for enthusiasm. They're
Isn't
looking for
everyone
like
though?
a,
Every I like yes,
but
I want enthusiasm.
women are with no, but yes, but women are withholding in terms of enthusiasm.
Let's stop.
Often.
Again, this is like we're playing it too cool. So we're gonna show up
Right.
like
Right.
we care, like we're trying. We're gonna show up with enthusiasm. We're gonna set the stage for the date that we'd want to have. I say like plan a date that you'd want to have, that you'd want to go on, even if you're it's not a love match. Like even if that person
Yes.
wasn't there, like you said, a
Right.
beautiful place, a beautiful space. I'm looking good. I'm wearing the heels. I'm feeling myself. Doesn't matter. Like you're a bore. I'm having a good time either way.
Right.
And then get
Exactly.
in, get out.
I want to go up to this art gallery, this museum. I had a client who, this guy asked
Yeah,
her
I love
out
that.
for bowling, and she was like, "No." I was like, "Why?" At least it's fun, something fun to do. And in fact, it was not her person, but she learned how to bowl, which was really fun. But
Life
so
skills.
my life skills. So my client
Use dating for
Susan,
life skills.
yeah.
Thing.
So my client Susan was going out. She wasn't getting on second dates. All these guys were trying to impress her. She was not impressed. Also, she was a therapist for vets who had were dealing with PTSD from the war. So she was used to, and this is where you have to go, what kind of person am I? Are you a person that's a deep listener? Are you a receiver? Or are you a pitcher, right? Are you somebody who conversationally initiates, or are you somebody who just receives a lot? So she deeply listens to people but does not emote a lot. And I said,
Mm.
darling, they think you don't like what they're trying to impress you with. And why would he ask you out on a second date if you're not getting asked out on second dates? This is probably the number one reason is there's an enthusiasm gap. The guy was trying to impress you and you were not giving him energy back about the thing that he was trying to impress you with. Now, honestly, you might not be that impressed. You might not be, but
And
that's
that's not your
okay.
person, and that's okay. That's okay. I want to put like a stamp, an exclamation point, a flashing sign on what you just said because it's so true. I love what you called it, the enthusiasm gap. I genius, Lauren, because that is so true. Like people want to know that you're into them before they're going to put themselves out there and open up to you and be like, I'm gonna ask this person on a second date, but,
Yeah. Well, the
like
guy's
they
already into you.
yeah.
If he's trying to impress you, he's already into you.
Yeah, but
He's
you gotta give
already
something
into
back.
you.
It's a reciprocal. It's
Got to
reciprocal.
give him some sparkle back. And what happened was she's married. She went out the next date she went on. She was like, I said, here's the thing. And this is the tip for everybody about first dates. This is your life. This is your party and you're throwing it and you're there to have fun. And the reason why most women do not acknowledge men or are not enthusiastic with men is because they don't know how to set boundaries. They think, oh, if I act like I like this guy, he's going to think I like him. And then if I decide I don't want him, I'm not going to be able to get rid of him. But
Mm.
I teach women how to get rid of them too.
Oh, I love that idea of the enthusiasm gap. Or actually, I love making everyone aware of it because we really need both people to enjoy the date. First dates aren't about just one party working to impress the other alone. There's so much more to this conversation. But before we get into it, let's talk about our sponsor. Love, love, love to our sponsors who help us bring you Dates and Mates absolutely free. All right, Lauren, I want to shift the conversation a bit here. One thing that I see just out of control now, Lauren,
Yeah.
you and I have both been doing this for a long time. The ghosting is just at an all-time high. Are you
Mm.
seeing this too?
Mm. Mhm.
What do you think is going on with ghosting, and are there ways that you teach your clients how to ghost proof their lives?
The reality is that there are more options right now. There are more ways to connect with people at the tips of your little manicured or unmanicured fingertips than it has ever existed in the history of forever. So, with all of those options, if you do not know how to create stickiness, if you do not know how to create marketing, they call it stickiness, like then TikTok, right? Things that go viral, right? What is it about certain people, certain things that make you just like kind of suck you in? And I will say that a clear, authentic communication, an unexpectedly insightful or poignant comment is the thing that makes people go, "Oh wait, wow, there was actually a person on the other end of this communication."
Yeah. That's another
So,
reason I think the phone call is important. You become a real person.
right. And FaceTime dates are also really important if people are long distance.
Ah, yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Do you think
mm-hmm.
long distance love can work?
Oh God, I have, yes, I am dating somebody that I met actually. That was long distance.
Oh my god. We
I
gotta
know
talk
it's
about
really
that
hot.
later.
He's so hot. Anyway, yeah, but he was far away, and we were in two different places. And then when we got together, we really knew each other, and it was bodice ripping romance. My whole thing is bodice ripping romance and legendary love that lasts forever. I'm
Yeah.
so excited about that for all of you.
Yeah. I want that for everyone too, and I know there's some people listening who are like, "That sounds great. Worked for you, Lauren. Worked for you, Damona, but it hasn't happened for me." Or
Oh,
they're dealing
yeah,
with heartbreak, and
yeah,
you have some questions that you recommend for what you call heartache prevention. Can you share
yes,
those with us?
yes, yes. So my friend Andrea Abbott is a brilliant comedian, and she said that she would rather get thrown out of a car going 10 miles an hour than going 60 miles an hour.
Or not get thrown out of a car at all.
Well, but
If
if
you
it's
had
not
to
going to work, if
choose.
it's not
If
going
you
to
had to
work,
choose.
yeah, but if you had to, yeah, if you had to choose, you don't want to get thrown out of. But if it's not the right person, you want to find out right away. So in dating, what happens is people do not put their real dating intentions in their profile, and they don't communicate about what they're really looking for right away. So if you want to get married, you put in your profile, I want to create an epic, magnificent family. Put it in there. And clients say, "Oh, I don't want to scare guys off." Well, you want to scare the wrong people off. You don't need to date a million people. You just need to date a couple of the right people, right?
Yeah. I'm reminded of that also in your response to about first dates, like,
Hmm.
and the story that you shared about your client who tweaked a little thing about how she was showing up on dates, and then the next date ended up being her person. Sometimes these
Hmm.
adjustments are so minute. Sometimes they're larger, and sometimes you need a whole man magnet makeover, and you need to be whisked away to a beautiful mansion with Lauren and get your look together and get your pictures done. But sometimes literally it's just like, "Hey, can you smile and act like you're having fun?" Or like, "Can you end the date and say like, I had a really great time. I'd love to do it again." Because I think we get really caught up in gender roles, in these norms,
Right.
in these scripts, and we
100%.
forget to just be real, and like, you're connecting with another human. That is a rare and wonderful thing. So, what do you lose by expressing that and how you feel?
Right.
Nothing, right?
Right.
Right? And like, if you say, I'm looking for a family and a romance and la 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 and all these
Mhm.
things. And that person is like, ew, gross. Like, that's a car going 10 miles per hour,
Well,
right?
I think the great improvement on dating apps is that they started putting in relationship goals. And honestly, the difficulty with being an adult dater is that there a lot of people have been married, divorced, never want to get remarried. You can't really tell what anybody's looking for. Like you really do have to ask questions. My heartache prevention question is really, if you're with somebody and let's say they've been married and divorced or widowed, you can say when you're on a date, if it's clicking, if it's sparkly, you can say, I know that you've been married and divorced before. I know that you've had, like incredible love that you lost. Do you ever see yourself opening yourself up to that opportunity again? And you will be amazed on a first date. I always say it's like you're talking to a bartender. You're a stranger or a cab driver, right? Have you ever noticed like bartenders hear everything because the stakes are so low. When you get into a relationship, it's like getting into the cockpit of an airplane, right? If somebody wants to go to Berlin and somebody wants to go to Brazil, right? Those are relationship
Here's your
goals,
ticket.
destinations. Somebody's getting hijacked or the plane's going to crash. So you want to make sure you're going, if you want to go to Paris, but you want to make sure he wants to go to Paris too. So you want to vet them because the biggest time waster that most of my clients have is that they meet men. Even if the guy says he wants the same things, you got to double check that. You have to fact check that. Have you found that?
Yeah, and I know everyone wants a shortcut, and they're like, "Just tell me the
Mm.
questions to ask." Like, we're just, we're checking down our list,
Uh huh.
and it's hard to ask the right question to get the, quote, "right answer."
Oh, interesting.
Some of
Mhm.
this stuff, you really have to just live it because they can say, "Oh, yeah, I want this, I want that. I'm interested in a long-term relationship and I want it to be serious with you." They can say a lot of things on the first date, like you said, because there's low stakes and it's the first time they're meeting and they have an agenda at that point. But you really have to see how someone's actions align with their words over
100%.
time. And so, like, once
Right.
you clear the first hurdle of first dates, which we've been talking about all
Hmm.
episode of like, do I even like this person? Am I enthusiastic? Do I want to see them again? That's actually, I think people front load that as the hardest part. I think that's actually the easiest part. The hard stuff is what comes after it. Like, well, am I truly compatible with this person? And there's no amount of scripts that I can give you to make that process faster. It's going to unfold at the speed of life. You know what I mean?
It's beautiful, the speed of life. I
I just
love that.
came up with that. That was just, I snatched that from
I
the ether.
love that. That's beautiful. I love that. Well, I think that I agree with all of that. And the speed of life, yes. And the thing that I do think, though, is that most people are not jerks. And most men are not jerks. And if they want polyamory, if they want, menage a trois, if they never want to get married, and you ask them, hey, I know that you're married and divorced. Do you ever want to get married again, Bob? If he doesn't, he's going to say, you know what? No, I actually don't. He'll tell you on the first date because he does not want to waste his time. So, in terms of ghosting, I think that this whole thing started actually with ghosting and how to ghost proof your love life. One of the things that you want to do is to make sure that you're on dates with people that have relationship alignment with you, that have as much compatibility as you can kind of glean on the front end. And, and then the date, it's like if you realize like you're the party and it's your job to act, it's like if he's a conversational dud, you can just go, so tell me, what was your favorite childhood story?
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite? What did you play in Little League? You look like you were a
Yeah.
baseballer. Like just get him to talk about a story. And then like when you're bored, just say, you know what? I've got to run to the ladies' room and just go to the ladies' room, powder your nose, come back and just say, you know what? I actually just got a call and I need to run. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet. Boom.
Perfect. I thought you were gonna say, "And then you leave."
You
Like,
do.
you're like, "I have to go to the powder room. I have to go powder my nose," and then you
Okay,
just
wait. I do
actually,
have a very
that
funny
happened to one
story.
of my clients
Oh,
this
did
week.
it? Did it?
Yeah, no good. No
My
good.
my aunt
One
Pat,
of my listeners. Yeah.
my aunt Pat was married to somebody, and he was like not a good guy, and they met at a coffee shop, and she just had enough, and she got up and she said to the maitre d', "Tell that," she gave him a $5 bill and said, "Tell that man in the back booth that I'm leaving and I'm never coming back."
Oh my gosh. Well, that's one way to get out of
And she changed the locks. Anyway, so so in terms of ghosting, how to ghost proof your love life is A, to become better at dating. And I always want my clients to have the opportunity to reject them instead of you getting rejected. So one of the biggest reasons you're going to get rejected is A, you didn't look like your photos. B, you didn't create enough enthusiasm or approval for him. A lot of women go out with men. A lot of my clients all of a sudden up level, like they're, it's like the dating profiles that like I write with my clients are very aspirational. You are a romantic lifestyle brand, whether you know it or not. So it's like, and men want the best rims, the best, like they're good shoppers. Men are actually good shoppers at love. And so if you really take a stand for what you want to create, and your vision of love is beautiful, they will actually see you as that person, but then you need to show up as that person on the date. And if you're enthusiastic about them and letting them know, and then at the end of the date, this is where my clients also have gotten into trouble. At the end of the date, how do you end that date, right? If you liked them, a lot of men get intimidated. A lot of men get intimidated around clients. A lot of men are shy. Right. A lot of men are insecure, believe it or not. Even the big he men are insecure. And so at the end of the date, I encourage you to just say, wow, like, or just in the middle of the date, if you like them, just say, wow, I am having such a great time right now.
Yeah,
Just
and
let
that
them
can
know
even
that you're happy.
reset the energy mid-date if you're starting to feel a lull. You just look at them, lock eyes with them, and you're like, "This is so fun. Like, you're so great." That's it, that's it, you know? And then it's like, "Oh, I'm so great." Like, they get pulled back in. But yeah, like, you control the ending, and that's what I always say on the show is that things that people will remember about you from a first date are the first impression, which you're excellent at helping people create, and the last moment, how you leave them.
How do you make
So,
them
get
feel?
in
How do you
how you
make
make them
somebody
feel.
feel? Yeah. So
Yeah.
the last, though, if you can say at the end of the day, just go, oh my God, this was like, what a surprise. I had such a great time.
What a
What a great
surprise.
date.
Yeah.
You're amazing. And then the guy will be like, yeah, it was really fun. That means that he's never calling you. He says it was really fun. But if he goes, yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing. I can't wait to see you again.
Yep.
And then often they will ask you out there and then. Sometimes they'll try to kiss you in the parking lot. Sometimes there's a whole bunch of things that can happen. We'll talk, But yeah,
I love it. Lauren, you are such a wealth of information. Thank you so much, Lauren.
thanks. Good luck, everybody, with creating an epic love life. You deserve it.